What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me going over the best gear for the Overlord collab characters, including the old characters from the original Overlord collab itself, and also the new Demiurge and Nabarel characters. So what we're going to be doing in this video is covering all the best gear for each of the characters, and also I'll let you guys know if any of the older characters gear actually have changed since the last time we did this video. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate the support on the channel, guys, as of late. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in and let's talk the two new characters first, and then I'll go on my old I'll go on my global account and we'll talk about the other 4 characters that are already in the game. Alright, so let's talk Demiurge and Nabarel. So in terms of the best gear for Nabarel, in my opinion, guys, I'm gonna say, and I don't know if this is like a hot take or anything, but I'm gonna say HP defense. And the main reason why I say HP defense for Nabarel is I feel like she's kind of just a support unit. So for you guys that don't know the way Nabarel works, she does have a single target skill here that does a little bit more damage when the enemy has a shock. Now that obviously is pretty good, you get 25% attack related, but you really don't do a lot of damage with the skill, man. And that's something that I did notice when testing out this character. And so what I kind of decided to go with this character in terms of doing is just run her support, right? You know, her passive here, she's providing 10% unknown attack for each unknown character on your team, so you can get a max of like 40% in a demonic beast setting. And yeah, I mean, you know, 40% is a pretty good attack buff. I think that might be the best attack buff any unknown team can actually get in the game, because it's more than Nanashi's 30% basic stats, and you can also stack that on top of that with this 10% that you do get. Now the only thing that I really don't like about Nabarel in terms of her kit, guys, is the little bit, like, you know, the shock that she applies at the start of the turn. The way it kind of works is that because of her passive, she applies this like gray debuff shock, and it's gonna last for like 2 turns, so it kind of messes you up when you're doing Ratatosker. But in terms of that though, like, I'm not really using this character as a DPS, and so we kind of run her as a support with the HP defense set. Now in terms of the actual rolls on the gear, guys, you're gonna rock just standard rolls, so HP rolls on the bottom pieces right here, and then we also have the defense on the middle pieces, and then attack percent on the top pieces here. So you guys can't really see because it's in JP. But yeah, that's pretty much what the rules are, and these are not her actual gear here, guys. This is a offset UR gear. I just slap it on her anyway, right? You can still run that set. You know, it doesn't have to be like an actual UR gear set, but if you were to UR a piece or a set of gear, I would definitely go with the HP defense, because she's not really the main DPS, even though, you know, she's kind of made to do that. She more so feels like a support type character. So that's what I would say for Nabarel, man. HP defense is what I'm going to lock in with, guys. In terms of PvP, I mean, you're not really going to be using this character in it. But if you were to run in PvP, you probably want her to be supporting the team as well for that 30% attack, because it's going to be, you know, like a 3v3 setting. So I'd still probably say, you know, HP defense just so that she's tanky enough, right? So that's what I'm going to go with Nabarel, guys. Let's move on to Demiurge. Alright, guys, now moving on to Demiurge here. In terms of the best gear set for this character, I actually was going to recommend HP defense here, guys, but after some thought and talking with Devo about it a little bit too, I actually think that the best gear set for this character is actually going to be attack defense. So this is a gear set that I don't necessarily like recommend a lot to, you know, players when making gear for a character like this. But the thing is that Demiurge definitely does benefit from is going to be the attack in his passive. So the way it works, and obviously you guys can't see this because it's not really translated here. Maybe I'll put like the translated version on the screen. But the way it works is that whenever Demiurge has the highest attack, it's actually going to apply the debuff on all the other enemies as well for the debuff you're going to get to be able to do more damage. Having that debuff right there is going to be very, very important, and having the higher attack allows you to do that. So even if you are going second in PvP, let's say, just being able to get that debuff on the enemy does really help. And remember too that the highest attack enemy and the lowest attack enemy will not be able to target this Demiurge. So if your opposing Demiurge is going to be the highest attack, then you won't be able to target him, right? That's pretty important. So yeah, being able to have higher attack on the character, I think, is pretty valuable, and because of that, I think that's something you might want to run for this character. I mean, you still could probably go with like a standard HP defense set, guys, but yeah, I mean, having that extra attack, just because of the way it applies in PvP, it actually is a little bit more beneficial than running, let's say, like just a standard HP defense set, right? Because the way Demiurge works in his passive. But yeah, again, that's like if you're running geared PvP. Most of the time people are just running, you know, ungeared, right? That's usually for the most part what they're doing for him. But if you were to run him in the gear PvP setting, then yeah, I mean, you know, attack defense there, and yeah, you'll be doing pretty good. You could go with like a more like damage based setup, and you could do like attack crit damage, right? That's definitely an option too. But I think overall, man, if you're going to do it, try to keep him a little bit tanky too, you know, give him the attack defense, and it'll also help for your CC too, because you'll have a little bit more. And I don't think you really need that critical damage as much as you might think. If you're just running him for, you know, just the attack alone, I think attack defense might be the way to go. So yeah, that's going to be my recommendation for Demiurge, guys. Let's move on to the other collab units now. Alrighty, guys, so we're talking now the old collab characters here for Overlords. We got Ainz, Albedo, Shaltir, and Cocytus. Now, in terms of the best gear sets for all three of these, or all four of these characters, guys, we're going to kind of discuss it right here. But Ainz, I would say, is going to be an HP defense character. Now, I don't actually have a UR gear HP defense for this character, but you definitely would want to run him on this set. And the reason why we want to do this is because Ainz is more so a supportive type character in the game. Regardless of if you're running PvP or PvE, you're mainly running this character for the support aspect of giving everyone basic stats for his debuff, and then also the fact that he's applying the death brand stacks on the enemy, right? So that lowers their damage dealt to you, right? You get a bunch of damage reduction, right? So obviously, like, Ainz being on the team, you kind of wanted to keep him alive so that he's able to just apply those death brand stacks, and you can, you know, from there kind of benefit with all the damage reduction you're going to be getting, right? So that's very, very important. So that's why I would say, you know, HP defense for Ainz is going to be the way to go. You could run like an attack set if you want to see like the damage on his verdict skill here. They are actually buffing this to 50% damage dealt on you know, after the update. So that's obviously like a very, very good increase. But in general, I mean, you probably don't want to run like an attack set if you want to keep this character alive, and then also in turn just stack up as much death brand stacks as you can. Right, so yeah, that's what I'll do for Ainz, guys. So in terms of the actual rolls themselves, you guys can see it's on global now. HP rolls on the bottom, pretty standard. Same with the rune as well. It's going to be HP. The middle pieces are going to be defense. Obviously, these could be better, guys, but this is just like someone else's gear here. This is Sobnak's here, right? So we just kind of like, you know, take another character set, and I'm just showing you guys like the example here for what you would make for their actual gear. So yeah, attack on this piece, and then attack on this piece as well. And then, yeah, I mean, that pretty much covers it, right? That's Ainz's best gear, in my opinion. Now, moving on, guys, to the next character, we have Albedo. Now, Albedo is pretty straightforward. You have actually two sets you can run in the game. Now, you have a PvP set, and you have a PvE set. Now, the PvE set is going to be attack crit damage. This is a given, guys. You slap attack crit damage on this character when you're running her in Demon King or, you know, Demonic Beast content. And the reason why I say attack crit damage is because you want to be doing as much damage on the counters as possible. The reason why Albedo is such a strong character is because she has a counter here that scales through Amplify. Amplify is damage dealt per buff on self, and Albedo is able to stack a lot of buffs on herself, guys. You get, you know, the attack related buffs, you have the Nanashi buffs. You know, you can get even more buffs if you run like bomb on the team and you're doing like kind of like a setup like that. She is very, very strong, and having as much buffs as you can for this character means more damage, and in turn with an attack crit set, even more damage, right? Because you're obviously doing more on the attack scaling for more damage. So in terms of the actual rolls here, guys, same standard stuff as the other gears. You're going to do an attack on the top pieces right here. You're going to go on the middle, you're going to go defense rolls, and then on the bottom you're going to do HP. And that's kind of how you want to go about it. And then for PvP, you probably want to go HP defense. Because in PvP, Albedo is mainly going to be a character that kind of draws damage away from other characters, while also being able to deal out a good amount of damage with the counter if you're not getting, you know, stance which is something that you're probably able to do, you know, very often here, unless there's a lot of DK melees. If there's DK melees, you're going to get your stance stripped a lot. But other than that, I mean, Albedo is going to be really good on HP, and she's going to be very tanky, drawing the damage away from, you know, your other characters on the team that, you know, probably don't want to take too much damage, maybe like Thor, or, you know, maybe Sobnak if you're trying to run her like that. So yeah, that's why you would run Albedo HP defense in PvP, and then I would go attack crit damage in PvE, guys. So that's going to be Albedo. Alright, now moving on, guys, we got the next character here being Shaltir. In my opinion, guys, the best gear set to run for Shaltir, it's kind of dependent on the content you're doing, man. There's a few things you want to kind of, you know, discuss here specifically for Shaltir, but if you're running Shaltir, man, I actually do recommend, guys, an attack crit damage set. And the reason why I recommend attack crit damage is because the way Shaltir works in terms of providing support for the team, what you want to be doing is you want to do as much damage as you can on the single target, because the single target itself, if we actually go to the skill effect for it, exploit, it's going to be doing ×2 damage dealt and ×2 critical damage against bleeding targets. And if we actually look at our holy relic here, it's going to restore allies HP by 30% of the hero's damage dealt to bleeding enemies. So pretty much the more damage we are doing using the single target from Shaltir onto an enemy that is bleeding, we're actually going to be getting more healing for the team. And that's kind of the support that you want to do with this character. So you want to be doing as much damage as possible, and you're mainly running this in like a PvE setting. I don't really think Shaltir has like too much PvP viability. If you were to run her in PvP, I'd probably go HP defense. But yeah, for PvE guys, attack crit damage, because you want to be dealing more damage to heal the team in turn, right? That's kind of the idea here. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Now in terms of the rolls, this is my actual Shaltir HP defense or attack rate UR. So you guys can see this is kind of what I'm rocking. But HP rolls on the bottom pieces, guys. Middle rolls are going to be defense as per usual. And then the top pieces are going to be the attack rolls as well, guys. So yeah, pretty standard. I mean, this is what you are trying to run on this character. You want to do, you know, as much damage to heal the team in turn. And that's going to be, you know, very, very valuable to do. Alright, so that is Shaltir's gear right there. Same thing would be said if you were running HP as well, guys, if you were running this character in PvP. But again, I don't really recommend running this character in PvP, which is more so like a PvE unit, and you want to take advantage of that heal that she's able to provide. Alright, guys, now moving on from Shaltir here, we got the last character being Cocytus. Now, in terms of the best gear for this character, actually, I'm going to recommend you guys run an HP defense set. Now, the reason why I'm recommending HP defense is because Cocytus is a full support character, guys. If we read his passive here in PvE, removes all debuffs from allies when the hero uses a skill and inflicts damage, and then increases allies HP by it's going to be 10% after the you know, the Overlord rerun here when it actually does drop. So it's going to be increased allies HP by 10% for every debuff removed for 3 turns, limit of 5 times, meaning you get up to, what is that, 50% max HP increase. And then on top of that, you're also getting the all stats in PvE as well whenever this character uses a skill. So you have all stats support for your team, you have max HP support, and so what does that mean? That means you want to keep this character alive as long as possible so that he does not die and you don't lose out on the buff. So if you actually go to his gear here, guys, pretty standard in terms of HP defense here. You're gonna rock HP on the bottom pieces here. Same with the rune as well. For the middle piece, you're going to go defense %. I mean, you know, it's pretty standard as well. And obviously, I mean, like, the rolls on mine aren't the craziest, but, you know, you do want to have, like, a very solid amount of defense. And then for the attack here, guys, the attack isn't as beneficial because Cocytus isn't really like a damage dealing character. He's more so kind of just there to be support, as I mentioned. But, you know, if you do want to do some damage, he does have Amplify on this first skill, which again, just like Albedo, is damage dealt per active buff on self. So it's actually pretty good. And when you do stack up all those buffs, you can do a lot. But yeah, I mean, honestly, because he's full support, in my opinion, you do just rock HP defense and you don't really need that extra damage from this character. You're probably running another DPS on the team anyway, right? So yeah, guys, that pretty much covers the characters right there for the Overlord collaboration. In general, I mean, most of them, depending on the content you're running, guys, is going to be like an HP defense set. And I mainly recommend that for characters that you're running in PvP, or if they're just kind of support type characters. That's something to definitely take into account because you have like Ainz here, you have Cocytus. Albedo in PvP is definitely an HP defense unit. But in PvE, you can see that a lot of these characters that are damage dealers, you want to run attack crit on. So Albedo, Shaltir. If we go to my JP account here, in terms of characters you're running attack crit on, like Navril, you're not really. You know, Demiurge, you're not really as well because these characters are either support or PvP oriented as well. But yeah, that would be pretty much my recommendation, guys, for the best gear for the characters. Let me know what you guys are going to be actually running on these characters when they do come to global for the update. They will be dropping later tonight. I'm posting this video on Monday morning. So you guys will see pretty much this so that you know what to build for tonight. And you can actually prep the gear now, guys. Remember that, you know, you're able to just make the gear set now, and then you can actually engrave it later when the update does drop. So feel free to start making your gear now and follow the way I actually formatted the gear in my video. In terms of like the actual formatting of this right here, guys, you definitely want to have the 2-piece in the middle and then the 4-piece on the top and the bottom. Keep that as your standard, man, for making gear in general, because this is going to allow you to run like middle piece swaps. So you can do like, you know, crit damage, or like HP crit damage. You can do attack crit damage, right? Or attack defense, right? It just gives you more flexibility if you're trying to swap out the character's gear and mix and match, because defense as a stat is not as important as attack and HP, as they're more important. So you know, if you were to swap something that's kind of less you know, defense rolls on the actual middle pieces, but you want to go for like crit damage, you could still rock that, right? Something to definitely take into account, man. So that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, guys, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out and have a great rest of your day, man. See you later, guys.